I went on holiday recently, but I don't think I told you about it. I don't think I mentioned that I was going to go on holiday in one of the previous episodes. So today, I'll tell you about that holiday. So, for a change, I didn't go to a Wetherspoons hotel. Instead, I went camping in Wales. I went to a place called Barmouth. And I was quite looking forward to going on this camping holiday because I do like camping. And I know I've said in a previous episode that one of the best cups of tea that you can have is after you've done something, you're outside and you've been doing something physical. So, for example, you've gone camping and you've just finished putting up the tent, which is, it's physical. It requires a lot of effort sometimes. And you've just sat down and the water has boiled and you make the first cup of tea, and that cup of tea tastes really, really good. So yeah, I like sort of being outside. I like the outdoors, and I like waking up in the morning and just being so outdoors and feeling like more of a connection with nature. Anyway, so I was looking forward to this short camping trip. It was only for 2 nights. Because we've been having so much good weather recently, and I enjoy camping, like I've said, but the one thing that I don't enjoy about camping is when the weather's bad. That is not fun at all. When either it's too rainy or it's too cold, I don't enjoy it then. And this is England, so it's often rainy and it's often cold. But we've been having so much good weather recently that I thought finally we're going to have like a sort of camping holiday where the weather is really good. And when that happens, it's really nice. Just a nice experience. You can leave all of the doors and windows open in the tent and just stay in there for the shade from the sunshine and just sit there in a t-shirt, and it's nice, really nice. So, looking at the weather forecast before we left, we found out that all of the nice weather was going away and that we were heading into some rain and some colder weather. Not really cold, sort of like 15 degrees cold. So not too bad, but I wouldn't be wearing a t-shirt in that weather unless I was running around or something. But like normally, I wouldn't be wearing a t-shirt. So we set off on the journey. I drove half of the way. My father drove the rest of the way, and we met up with my sister and her family. She has 2 boys, 2 young boys, and we went to see where they are staying because they were staying on the same campsite, but they were not camping. They had this like a small wooden hut, I think they called it a camping pod maybe, but it was. Camping pods are usually very small. This was like 2 or 3 times larger than a camping pod. So yeah, like a small wooden house, I guess. And it had a balcony and some really nice views. You could see the ocean, and you could see some mountains as well. Very impressive scenery. Anyway, we went to see where they were staying, and it was just like, I don't know, about like a 1-minute walk away from where our tent was going to be, because it was actually a very small campsite. It's the smallest campsite I've ever been to. I think there was only like 1 camper van and 1 tent there before us, so almost nobody, just 2, like, I don't know, families, 2 families. So we found out where our tent was going to be, like what spot we had to put it in, because they're all numbered, all of the pitches where the tents go, and started to put the tent up, and that went fine. Oh, there were 2 tents. I had a tent, my parents had a tent. Put both of those up, and that first cup of tea, that was a long time coming, because we were trying to boil the water. Normally, when we go camping, we have an electric hookup, which is like a pitch with electricity. So you can connect like an electric kettle and like an electric frying pan and electric heaters. Very important, electric heaters when you're camping in England, and electric lights, and you charge your phones and all that kind of stuff. We didn't have any of that. It was just like off the grid, no electricity, which is tricky to do. But anyway, so we're trying to boil this hot water on a gas stove, and it took a long time to become hot. And then finally, when it was hot, my father knocked it over and spilt it everywhere. And at this point, we decided to just go and borrow the kettle that my sister had, because, as I said, she was staying in this like wooden house, and she had electricity and she had a sink and all of this kind of stuff. So it was quicker to just go and make a cup of tea there. But it took a long time to get that cup of tea, and I didn't really sit outside when I was drinking it. I think maybe I sat on the balcony, so it didn't feel like I was really, really outside. But yeah, it was nice enough. Anyway, on the first day, we went down into the town, and it was windy. It was like, when you got down to the beach, wow, there was a lot of wind coming off the beach. And it was blowing the sand up into our eyes. So you had to like keep walking forwards and close your eyes as much as you can, but just leave a little gap so that you can still see when you're looking at the ground, just to try and keep the sand from out of our eyes. The town itself was quite a nice town, like small, rather small, quite sort of traditional. And again, like the last place we went to, Minehead, this had like a combination of like a beach and all of this sort of nature behind it. But this was even better in that aspect. Like it had a nicer beach, I think, much nicer beach, and the waters had that nice sort of like aqua blue, turquoisey, like greenish blue colour to them, which is nice. And there was a lot more like nature right at the back, like these very, very big hills or sort of like mountains everywhere, and this big river running out to the ocean, and you could see all this line of mountains going off into the distance, which was really nice. Because I do like mountains. I like mountains, and I like seeing when they're covered in cloud as well. That's good. And it had a harbour, so lots of boats were in this harbour, and an old, very, very long, old bridge for a train. Although people could walk across this bridge too. And that's a long bridge. It went all the way across this river, and it was a big river. So yeah, just a nice town. Not too much there. It was missing some of like the popular chain shops that we normally get. So there's a bakery called Greggs where they serve all kinds of things. Pasties. What else? Cakes, sandwiches. Coffee, tea, all that kind of stuff. There wasn't a Greggs. Normally we would go to Greggs if we wanted that kind of food, because it's when you're in a new place and you don't know anything, it's just a safe bet. That means it's like, you know what you're going to get. I don't think Greggs is it's okay. Maybe the food is good at best. It's not amazing. It's just okay. But I suppose if you don't pick Greggs, then it's a gamble. You might get something really good, or you might get something really bad. But there wasn't a Greggs because this town is so small. So we just picked this bakery, like an independent bakery. And I'm really glad we did, because it was like, I don't know, about 2 times better than Greggs, I think. Like I had a cheese and onion pasty from there, and it was really good. Like completely different to the sort of, I don't know, the not so good stuff that you get at Greggs. It didn't have a Wetherspoons, which is a shame. because of the prices of the drinks in Wetherspoons. You can't Wetherspoons again. It's not great, but you can't argue with the prices of the drinks. It's like £2 for a pint of beer, or like there's a cheaper one they do, which is about £1 something. I don't know, is it 150, 160 for a pint of beer? Anyway, we weren't going to go into a pub this holiday because we had small children with us. Although I suppose we could have done, and I had an afternoon drink, but I don't like drinking in the afternoon. Anyway, I'm going to leave this there for now and pick it up in the next episode. So until then, bye bye.